Okay, Andrew, I'm at a medical conference in Phoenix, and these other people are at my booth, so I don't have to be there. Okay, so I'm with
Awesome, awesome.
you.
Okay, so I guess we'll start at this point. I will edit out all that stuff from the beginning. So I heard about you from the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles this past February. Far-infrared energy and spiritual purification was your presentation. I didn't watch it, but you're certainly worthy to come on my show. You have a lot of things to offer regarding how to heal people and all that. A lot of things the powers that be probably don't want people to know about. So all the more reason to get you on. So
Sure.
please, to start off, introduce yourself, tell your life story from a primary source perspective that caused you to, well, tell us what you experienced that caused you to do the things that you do. And then after you do that, we will get into the science behind what you do and how it works and all the rest of it in much greater detail after you tell your life story from a primary source perspective. You've got the floor.
Okay, I started off as a math whiz in high school, and so it seemed like my life was directed. I graduated from Indiana University, 1970, and right before I graduated, I had a breakup with my girlfriend, and that was treacherous for me. And it turned out as a result of that, I had a realization. I had a realization that I was too left brain. I needed to get involved in music, art, and dance. As it turns out, that really was an out of body experience, but I didn't know it. I just thought I just had a realization. And then from then on, looking backwards, it was, I connected with something, and, it's like, I connected with it, and I've always been connected with it. It's sort of like that phrase, I grew up as a agnostic Jewish atheist, and but the phrase is from the Bible saying, once you drink of this water, you never thirst again. Well, that's what I experienced, and I've been connected with an inner connection ever since then. So as a result of that, that led me to just learning how, like I said, getting involved in music, art, and dance. I got led to books like Ronald Lang's Politics of Experience, like Herman Hesse's Narcissus and Goldman, Alan Watts's book about the taboo against knowing who you are, and then eventually the Ram Dass book called, Be Here Now, and a whole slew of other books. And then eventually I met this yogi, and he showed me some yoga techniques. And from then I had a Kundalini experience, and said that was profound as well. So it's like I've had a lot of experiences throughout the years since then, but basically it got me into communication, and I really enjoy connecting, getting deep into the depth of my connection, so that I can see, I can see what's going on, and it's like my mathematical training with noticing patterns and then drawing conclusions from those patterns. So as a result of that, after I had this Kundalini yoga experience, I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't eat anything without being um, like I felt like I was on Thorazine, and I was in a mental institution, and they were putting me on Thorazine because I've seen people where they just can't connect. And so I had to meditate for 6, 7, 8 hours, because I started meditating because there was nothing else to do. I just had some really wonderful experiencing, getting involved, learning to listen to music, learning to write poetry, learning to dance. I took modern dance. I did all these things to embrace, and I think the book Steppenwolf by Herman Hesse exemplifies. I was sort of like a little bit arrogant. I was aloof, and I was like the Steppenwolf. I was trying to get perspective by going to the top of the ceiling of a room, and then in the book Steppenwolf, he is drawn into getting into the moment. And by getting into the moment, I've said for years, you pop out on the other side. Detachment is when you get totally involved in life, and you pop out on the other side by that's just sort of what happens. And And when I was meditating in 1997 and contemplating for the previous 4 months trying to get a new name for my company, I wanted to have the word transformation be in there. And I had this experience where I woke up out of my body and the word transformation disappeared into a nothingness. Not a nothingness, from whence it came, basically the source of everything. And then next thing I know, I was in my body, and I was looking through my third eye. It was wide open. I was looking at this beautiful lake, and there was a volcano-like structure in it. And then all of a sudden, out of the volcano-like structure, a lottery ball popped out with the word momentum on it. And then after that, I'm saying, okay, I get it. Momentum's the name of my new company. And I'm a little disappointed because it's a mundane word. And I just like exciting things. I have Aquarius rising and Aquarius moon, so I'm really attracted to things that are different and weird and strange and have a enticement to it. So next thing I knew is I heard the word taking advantage of the moment. I said, oh, wow, momentum comes to the word moment. I never realized that. And now I've accepted the fact that this is my new company name. I'm individually visualizing my stationery, and I said, where's the beef? There's something more. There's something missing. And then I heard the word fulfilling yourself in the greatness. So then as soon as I said, wow, as soon as I did that, the third eye totally shut, and I'm looking into blackness. And so I guess a little bit later, I get up, I find a database, and I write down those phrases in the database, and I couldn't for the life of me remember that phrase, taking advantage of the moment, propelling yourself into greatness. I could not remember that until I finally found it in the database about 10 days later. And so that's the name of my company, and that's our slogan, and that's what we're all about. And then about 15 years, and then I started opening up a health food store in 1980. Then I started selling massage tools, and I started doing expos. I started selling massage sandals, and then I opened up a business where it was a health food store and selling to health professionals, and the health food stores, mainly massage tools, Chinese herbs, green juices back in 1984 when there weren't any. Chinese herbs were hardly available and known from what he knows, and Chinese mushrooms. And so I was always sort of like at the front of the curve, and I sort of prided myself, my company, that we sold products on the cutting edge, and we find out 2-3 years before the other health food stores. And so I started selling to health food stores. And then 16 years ago, one of my massage tool suppliers, I went to a spa show to see whether or not I should go to that show the next year. And lo and behold, they had this portable sauna there. I said, wow, I couldn't believe you have a sauna in your home. Oh my God. Because I've always loved saunas. I've joined gyms 2 or 3 times just to experience the sauna and never to exercise. And so a year later, I finally decided I could afford it, paid for it, started selling them. So I took that year. And a year later, I get a call from a company in Taiwan, the Relax Sauna company, and then they say, hey, our sauna is more technologically advanced, more effective. I said, fine, I'll buy one. They sent me one, and then that was part of my history of finding a product which exemplified even more and more what all the massage tools were doing, because the name of my company was Momentum, taking advantage of the moment, propelling yourself great. So I realized a few years later, after I was given that name and the slogan, that the reason we were called Momentum is because the products we sold were catalysts to get into the moment. Because that's the secret of life. And you can actually be in the moment, have no fears, have no, just be in the moment. And that's sort of elusive. And, it turns out that it's like practicing the presence of God, and momentum, taking advantage of the moment, means living in the moment and listening. So if you could live in the moment and listen, and then when a wave comes by, if you can get in front of the wave, it will take you into the wave, will take you into greatness. So it's actually our slogan is a practical way to actually practice the presence of God. There's a book by Brother Lawrence called Practicing the Presence of God, like 80, 90 pages. And if you say to someone, hey, all you got to do is practice the presence of God so I was given the name Momentum, taking advantage of the moment, propelling yourself into greatness. And it turns out the relaxed sauna is one of the best ways to get into the moment. It centers you, it grounds you. When people get in it, they say, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being hugged by my grandma. I'm in the womb. I'm in the presence of the Qigong master. Or I feel like I'm in a step-down version of divine love in a box. So that's a little bit of the history of where I came from, how I got there. And here I am now. I'm at this expo that you're calling me at. I didn't know I was going to be at it for sure, but here I am. And I've been promoting saunas. I've sold over 10,000 saunas over the years. But my main thing when I come to these shows, I'm really into communicating, and I've experienced great freedom over the last 50 years of that. I just want to, and for the last 50 years, all that has mattered to me is sharing that this freedom exists and suggest different ways that help me get connected to it. And that's what I'm all about. And the sauna is a reflection of that. So here I am. I'm ready for any questions for you, and we can go a little bit in my history after that. So here I am. Hi.
Awesome. By the way, I hate to tell you this, but you are breaking up a little bit on your phone. I hope that's nothing more than maybe a few Skype gremlins that my angels and guides can help get rid of if I ask them to. But make sure that your reception is kind of good. And all those, you said that you're in a place where there's birds.
Yeah, I'm in a little yard. And the birds are coming around every so often.
I can hear them in the background. Yeah, but we'll try not to let that be a distraction. Yeah. And please, let's ask our angels and guides to help your reception get a little better, so the rest of this material that gets into the science and all that they'll be able to understand for the rest of the interview. So, all right. Well, moving on. Far infrared energy. What's the significance behind infrared? That's my first question. And then after that, could you get into the science behind how it works regarding detoxification, getting rid of pain, inflammation, and swelling?
Yes, of course. When you go out to the sun, you can feel the energy. You can, if it's a hot sun on a cold day, you can close your eyes, you can feel the warmth of your body. And so what it is the Fra-Infrared energy is resonating with the cells in your body. And that resonating is like, it's almost like a love bond. Like if you see someone from maybe 100 feet away you haven't seen for a while, you can feel there's a spark that you feel, and that's like a resonating of similar frequencies. And the Fra-Infrared energy is the same energy as humans. We all as humans generate 9.4 microns of Fra-Infrared energy, and the Fra-Infrared energy that comes from the sun, or the Fra-Infrared ray energy that comes from the relaxed sauna, resonates with it. And that resonating causes the water cells and the organic cells of your body to pulsate. And when they start pulsating, it increases the core temperature of the body. It mobilizes the lymphatic system. It increases microcirculation. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And it also does more than that, in that it helps the mitochondria in the body to create ATP and nitric oxide. So it gives you energy and relaxes you at the same time. Hippocrates said, find me a way to create sweat, and I will cure disease. He didn't say I can or may, he says I will. And the relaxed Fra-Infrared sauna happens to be about 6 times more potent than any wooden Fra-Infrared sauna that costs $4,000 or less that I've ever seen, and about 10 times more potent than any of the portable sauna. So it is effective. I've there's about 150,000 people in the relaxed sauna. In the last 15 years, there's about 30 shows a year, and I've seen 20 to 25,000 minor miracles. If you check out the research, there's research we have about the relaxed sauna radiator in 2004 that was presented at the Pacific Rim Conference in Taiwan. It compared, for example, the relaxed sauna energy to near-infrared light bulb and found that significant more penetration into the body, significant more microcirculation caused by it. And Sherry Rogers wrote a book called Detoxify or Die. She's a medical doctor, environmental medical doctor. And in the book, she, basically the book is a testament to Fra-Infrared saunas and what they can do. And, they are very potent. There are people who were left for dead, came back, and became healthy who used the Fra-Infrared saunas and nothing else worked.
Thank you. And regarding this, let's talk about, first of all, I want to get some of your contact info out. A lot of people do this at the beginning or the end of their shows. I want to get out now because there's 3 different websites that you had on your Facebook page, and I just want to differentiate between all of them, and we'll get into get into these things, and you can by all means make a sales pitch out of this. The first website, AcuMasseurs.com. The second website is Momentum98.com, and the third one is RelaxSaunas.com. It seems like you've been talking a lot about the saunas for one. So let's switch gears for a moment and talk about this thing called the AcuMasseur. What exactly is that thing? It says one of the best complete body massagers, not just for the shoulders and the neck, but for the whole body. How does that thing work? What's the science behind it? Prove us you're not a snake oil salesman, and go ahead and make a sales pitch out of this.
Yeah. Well, it's a neck and shoulder massager mainly. That's what it's sold as. It's got 2 little red golf ball looking creatures on a stick to put in so that you can use it yourself. There's a string, so you can not just massage your neck with it, but you can also, by using the string, massage your shoulder. Go to the website, you can look at it and see the picture of it. But it's one of the, you just can't do your neck yourself. You can't massage your neck muscles yourself without creating stress in your arms and shoulders. And similarly, you can't massage your shoulders for the same reason. So this particular massage tool allows you to do that. I started selling it in 1982. I would consider it the best massage tool available ever, and it's very, very effective. And I'm now the importer. I've been the importer of it for about 20 years, and it's very popular. Many massage therapists, chiropractors, will sell it to their clients, and they consider it the best massage tool out there. There's a lot of good massage tools. I sort of made my mark in the world originally in 1980 by starting to sell massage tools. I was marketing 2 different massage tools nationally in the early 80s. And then, when you're marketing a massage tool and anyone else has another massage tool, they come at you. So I ended up selling about 40, 50 different massage tools. That's what I have been doing all these years. And then, 16, 17 years ago, when the saunas came into my awareness, and I actually was inducted into the World Massage Festival. They have an organization that puts on the massage festival every year, and they inducted me into the Massage Therapy Hall of Fame about 2 years ago. And I'm not even a massage therapist, but I've done a lot to promote massage by selling massage tools. And it turns out that the best massage tool in the world is a relaxed sauna, because every cell in your body is being massaged by the energy creating the water cells that pulsate, and therefore every organic cell in your body is pulsating, so it's being massaged. But going back to the AcuMasseur, I'm the importer of it, and I sell wholesale and retail, and it is a lot of people who are trainers or very attuned find it extremely effective. And if it weren't for the relaxed sauna, I would be promoting it a lot more shows. It's sort of like I treat it like Cinderella. It's like I bring it to my shows, but I don't even have time to talk about it because Superman or the relaxed sauna is so amazing what it can do. I've got 700 testimonies on YouTube, if you check out the Sauna testimonials on YouTube, there's about 700, about 15 of their Lyme disease and all sorts of health problems. I only got 2 or 3 testimonies on the Acumister, but in its own right, it's a great, incredible massage tool. I highly recommend people get it and use it. It belongs in every home. It's a staple. It really does a great job. Do it yourself on the neck or the shoulder. And you can play with it and actually become its friend, and it will teach you all its wondrous secrets. Again, I've been selling it since 1982, and I really enjoy it. It's a great massage tool.
Sure it is. It's the one. Well, you sell a lot of products for sure, but this one I get has its own website for good reason. Because was it like the first one you ever made, for all intents and purposes?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I started selling it in '82. It was probably about the 6th or 7th massage tool I started selling. But it turns out that the person who was the original importer quit importing it, and so for a year, all these people were selling it, couldn't get it, and they wouldn't tell anyone where they got it from. So I happened to. It fell into my lap, and I guess, we can talk about how things manifest in this world. When it fell into my lap, I was doing all the things right. And so I found out the name of the importer. I contacted them, and they said, yeah, you can become the new importer. And so I started importing them. And the reason I have a website on is because I'm the importer. So in the United States. So on the other one, there's just other products I have sold throughout the years. And this one I invested money in. I'm Mr. Acumister for the United States, so that's why I created a website for it. We always promote it, although it's been totally eclipsed by the relaxed sauna. Because when you spend a couple $1,000 for a booth at a conference, you have to sell a lot of Acumisters at $50 each to be able to pay your fee. Relaxed sauna. I go to a lot of medical conferences, and it sells online for $1,195 right now. The retail was $1,300. It's profitable for me, and I get into contact. Again, I'm honing in on my communication skills. There's so little known about science and Ray in the world, even with medical professionals. A lot of them know it, but half of them don't. It's like one of the most incredible tools there is, and will augment any natural, holistic health practitioner's practice. We have trainers who are promoting this. We have massage therapists, colon hydrotherapists. We have naturopathic doctors, integrative medical doctors, nutrition counselors, health coaches, raw food chefs. So many people into holistic health. Again, we were at the Conscious Life Expo. Anything that makes you more free, more conscious, healthier, more tuned in. That's the products I promote, and what I do is there's no product, just ideas. Just like the idea that observe comes from the word serve. That was like an incredible aha that I had a couple years ago. Observe comes from the word serve. So when you that, then I realized 6 months later that the judgment is like judgment is the worst thing you can do on anything, and that there's an antidote for judgment, and that's observe. And when you're observing, you're serving. So when you find yourself judging something, it basically it locks you into duality. You get locked into duality, you divorce yourself from spiritual freedom in the now, or from the God consciousness state. Anytime you judge something, you're saying that's wrong, that's right, and the yin, the yang. The yin always merges into the yang, and the yang always becomes the yin. That's just the way it is. That's part of the way the life works. So if you get locked in and attached to being on one side of the spectrum, and you're not willing for the other side to merge or emerge, then you get locked into you are. So you turn off the judgment switch, like a light switch, and you turn on the observe switch and just start observing. And you're saying, well, maybe that person needs that experience. Who are you to say that that's wrong or that's bad? It may be wrong for you, but who are you to put project what's right for you in the moment onto someone else? Because what's right for you might be right for them. I mean, not right for them. And it's like a friend of mine gave a talk in 1973 or 72 called The Spiritual Ladder. He says, wherever you see someone on the spiritual ladder, there you are, one step below them. And I think that's funny because they're doing something you think is bad. Well, obviously, you don't know that it's not bad. So you're setting yourself up to experience it. So you see that it's not bad. And so they're already ahead of you. They're already telling you that it's not bad. Because nothing is bad. Everything is just an experience. Remember, time and space are, it's an illusion. There is no time and space. It's just a mock-up to gain experiences so we can become more free, more wise, more loving. Because, when you're totally free and you're just in such a freedom state, all you want to do is love. And, of course, you don't want to love indiscriminately because that's not it. If you just love those, you love them all with will, and you love warmly those who can handle the warmth. You sort of have to monitor by listening. Listening is key. Love is listening. I was told in 1984 that generally a person will love people who listen to him or her. And there's a really beautiful video on YouTube. If you go to Relax on a Testimonial, Love is Listening. 3 musicians are singing this song, and 2 of them are in the Relax Sauna while they're singing spontaneously, blooming into spring and are blooming into the song. And this one guy with the guitar is going on. It's about a 4.5-minute video on YouTube, and the whole center of the 4.5-minute video is them singing "Love is Listening, Love is Listening, Love is Listening, Love is Listening." And I said, "Wow, that is so cool!" And it's the funniest thing in the world because these guys are in the sauna sweating like crazy and singing in almost like a falsetto. This is a yoga music and then say about it. So it's listening is very, very important. And that's what the whole idea about taking advantage of the moment, propelling yourself into greatness. Living in the moment and listening, meaning you're vigilant, you've got your antenna up, you're not like a bull. See, the bulls in a bullfight, they don't listen, they're just charging, and that's their demise. But if you're always listening while totally enjoying the adventure of life, I learned about 7 years ago, I relearned that life is an adventure. You got to have fun, and we'll talk more about that, after you ask other questions. But you got to have fun. Life is an adventure, and all children's stories start with the adventures of Peter Pan, the adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the adventures of Alice in Wonderland, the adventures of Aladdin, the adventures of the Three Musketeers, and that's we do forget, and we always want to remember life is an adventure and not get all tied up in the whatever the craziness of this world. Because this world is meant to be negative, so that we can wake up and discover that we are eternal beings of light and love. And getting into the relaxed sauna is a great reminder, and that's why I'm so excited to be promoting the benefits of Fra-Infrared ray. Dr. Bill I wrote a book called No Sweat, No Sweat, and it's all about the history and the wonders of sweating. And in the second edition of the book, he raves about the relaxed sauna. That's the one that he has sold, or his patients. They call me up almost every week. I get a phone call. One of the patients, Dr. Bill told me to call you and get the being relaxed sauna is it's gong sauna. It's different than any other sauna. The other saunas are great, but study everyone. They studied the research in Fra-Infrared ray. I mentioned that Dr. Terry Rogers spawned an industry in Fra-Infrared saunas by recording all the incredible results that she had and all the research that she, was able to come by in the book Detoxify or Die. And Dr. Bill Axenar's book is called No Sweat, N-O Sweat, and then K-N-O-W Sweat, No Sweat, No Sweat. And it's all about the history of sweating in every culture, and talks about Hippocrates saying, find a way to sweat, and I will cure disease.
Thank you. I see looking at your products here, there's a couple different saunas. There's the one where the woman has her head sticking out of the sauna thing that the whole thing is covering her whole body, and there's also a lie down version for people that want to lie down. There's also a couple of far infrared lamps. How exactly do these lamps work? Do you actually have to have the lamp light shining on you, or can you have it near you and not directly shining on you for it to work? How does that work?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because far-infrared ray, I when I give talks a lot of times, I jokingly said, I don't understand why they don't teach you in 7th and 8th grade. There's 3 principles of far-infrared ray energy. Number 1, it's a light, and therefore, because it's a light, it goes at a pretty quick speed, like the speed of the light, which is 186,000 miles a second. Number 2, far-infrared light, even though it's invisible, it's still a light, and therefore reflected by a mirror. And the third thing is they don't teach you is that far-infrared goes through clothes, sort of like how X-rays can go through clothes. Far-infrared ray goes through clothes, and it does not get hot in your on your shirt, or the wool in your sweater does not get it hot at all. However, it goes, and also the far-infrared ray that goes through the sand for 2 inches and resonates with the water in turtle eggs does not get the sand hot at all. Now the sand on the top, that's from the ultraviolet. But the sand 2 inches below the surface of the surface, that sand does not get hot, and yet the water in the turtle eggs will get hot through being pulsed by the resonating of the water cells pulsating in the turtle egg that will warm the turtle egg just like a chicken egg gets warm, and that's what it hatches. Because the chicken generates far-infrared ray energy, and that resonates with water in the turtle egg. Human beings generate far-infrared ray energy. If you've ever hugged anyone, you notice they're usually pretty warm. That's the far-infrared ray energy that we generate. In northern Canada and Alaska, they have a term called the three-dog night. And, when you ask people if they know what a three-dog night, about half of them will say, isn't that the name of a band? Yeah, the band gets their name. Well, three-dog night is basically when it's so cold in northern Canada or Alaska that you need 3 dogs lying on top of you generating far-infrared light, and that is what keeps you warm. So far-infrared light on the lamp would need to be right in front of you, unless, like in the sauna, what we do is we get around that by having the tent of the relaxed sauna is totally silver, and therefore it goes through, and like on the inside, it's a blue cloth, but the far-infrared ray goes through the blue cloth, hits the silver, and bounces back. And that, if at 186,000 miles a second, you've got the 2 radiators, and if they're exactly 180 degrees, which is impossible to be exactly that, so they're probably 179.9 or 178.5 or something like that, and there'll be an angle, it'll ricochet, and within about half a second or less, you're in the whole relaxed sauna, and every part of your body is, the light is, the invisible light is shining extremely brightly, with great brightness. It's shining from every nook and cranny of the tent, and every time it goes through your body, it resonates with water cells and warms you to the core. And so with the lamp alone, you would have to, because, there's a saying I've said a number of times, that cats don't lie in the shade. They lie in the sun, because the sun, goes through their clothes and resonates, because all male or and birds, we generate far-infrared ray energy. And so when the energy comes at us, you've seen probably lizards and, lizard, whatever creature it is that loves to be in the sun. As a matter of fact, far infrared ray energy is the energy that comes from the sun that's responsible for photosynthesis. So and you need to be in front of it, or in front, like the moon is reflected sunlight and generates light, or you can be in the presence of reflected far infrared light. And every like asphalt, copper, silver, tourmaline, jade, carbon, gold, silver, they all will reflect a certain amount of far infrared light. Maybe 3% of the reflection will be far infrared ray, maybe 7%, depending upon an item. And so other companies are able to generate or create an alloy which can generate, like in the portable saunas, 36% far infrared ray, and the tourmaline saunas about 18%, and in the wooden sauna somehow they're able to get 40 or 50%, maybe even 60 in a couple of the really high quality ones. And the relaxed sauna, however, they found a way to generate about 98% far infrared ray by creating a semiconductor chip. So their technology, would you say the difference in the technology of the relaxed sauna compared to all other saunas is similar to the difference in the technology between Tesla and Edison. It's a huge cosmic jump. And we're able to actually, and that's why, they say in Taiwan that being in the relaxed sauna is like being in the presence of a Qigong master. There's about 6 to 10 times more potent than any other sauna. And people don't believe it. They say, "Oh, I've got a wooden sauna. I've got a lot of conferences." It's like pulling teeth to say, "Hey, get in. 30 seconds will make an impact. 1 minute will make an impact." And then finally, I twist their arm. I do whatever I can to get them in. And oh my gosh, I can't believe how good this feels in 30 seconds. And one lady even said, a well-known doctor, and my hair doesn't get messed up. But it's the far infrared light you need to be in front of. And that's why they've got panels all over the place. But it's like anything. The closer you are to it, the more intense it is. And then you want to know the intensity, the wattage of what you're in front of. And then in terms of far infrared ray, you want to know what percentage of that energy is actually far infrared ray. It's not so much the wattage, because it could be, your normal electricity is 2 or 3% or less than 1% far infrared ray. Creating a far infrared energy lamp is a lot more expensive than an infrared heater. It's an art form, and it's like the scientists at the Tung Electric company in Taiwan that manufactured the relaxed sauna. It took them 10 years to finally figure out, how to do whatever they did with the electricity to get the pure, and they use a semiconductor chip. And I was talking to a semiconductor chip mathematician at the Extraordinary Technology Conference in Albuquerque last July, and he was explaining to me that with a semiconductor chip, there's no wiggle room at all. In other words, it's like the shower you have where you can focus into one, so only into more of a bullseye. So only with far infrared pulsates through water molecules. Near infrared does not, mid infrared does not, only the far infrared ray, because it has to resonate. And if it's too far away from human energy of 9.4 microns, or the water vibration 8 microns, the general good far infrared energy is between 4 and 14 microns, and that's what the relaxed sauna produces. 98% of the energy is between 4 and 14. Now, the other people will say maybe we're 4 and 14, but only 40% of their energy, or 36% of their energy, is actually between 4 and 14. And so there's a lot of, marketing ploys out, and sometimes they don't know themselves that their technology is limited. But, those other saunas, those other inexpensive saunas, I had one and I loved it for a year. Other people have reported to me it didn't do anything for them. The relaxed sauna is so much more incredible than what they had, like night and day difference. And some say, like I said, they like the other one, but this is way, way more. And others said they didn't even like the other one. So I I have to honor them. I had one for a year, and I would get in I'd take the chair out, and it takes me 18 minutes to finally start sweating. And then finally, after 55 minutes, I felt I had a good sweat. In the relaxed sauna I use, I'm sweating in 8 minutes. I feel great in 30 seconds. And after 15, 18, 20 minutes, 22 minutes, I've had an incredible sweat. In the other sauna, maybe minutes to feel really, really good, and 18 minutes to start sweating. So, time is money. A lot of people on it, and they're very, very, very high quality. They buy the relaxed sauna because waiting 20 to 30 minutes for it to heat up is just too much of an inconvenience. As a result, that's they hardly use it. Other people, they found a way to do it and good. But the pretty wood does not great. You have to look at the energy source, electron rate energy, and that's why many prefer the relaxed sauna, and they say it's by far the best sauna out. And it's also interesting that the Finnish sauna is different from a far-infrared sauna. It's different. It's like I like to say that a dog is not a dog. A sea lion is not a lion, a seahorse is not a horse, and frankly, a far-infrared sauna is not a sauna. Look like the definition of sauna in Webster, Webster's the name of the dictionary. Sauna heats you, and that's what causes the sweat. Far-infrared sauna resonating causes the water cell focus, to increase the core temperature. That's what sweat in the recommends the heart rate sauna is very careful. They say you ever get into a hot tub, you get regular sauna, cause your heart to race, trying to find inside.
Dude, you're breaking up really, really, really bad now compared to other times. What's going on?
Here I am. The question.
You're
are the movers moving.
Okay, all right. Sounds like the background noise has stopped, but all right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. You're still bouncing, like your signal's still bouncing a little bit, but we'll see how this is going.
Yeah, they just finished. They just finished the break of the food away. So wheeling back.
Okay. Well, let's just try to continue here and hope that this stops. Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the symptoms that the conditions that this is designed to treat. Lyme disease, diabetes, fibromyalgia. Now, it's been said by some people like Dr. Joel Wallach, among others, who's a naturopathic doctor of sorts. He says that, like, there ain't no genetic diseases. That's the term that's just been made up. It's all every disease to some degree has to do with some sort of nutrition deficiency of some sort, with the exception of some of the diseases that you can catch through viruses and germs, like Lyme disease and such. So this idea that a sauna can cure well, let's talk about illnesses that don't have to do with germs and viruses and bacteria. Diseases that any naturopathic doctor would say has to do with some sort of nutrient deficiency, even diabetes. Dr. Wallach has asserted as a nutrient deficiency thing, in which case people would assert that unless this sauna device or the Fra-Infrared technology has the ability to replace nutrients, so to speak, then it's not going to cure the disease. It's only going to treat it as good, or maybe hopefully better than any medical doctor would. Is there any way that the Fra-Infrared technology could, dare I say it, cure the disease without like giving you nutrients? And if so, how is it possible?
Well, I like Dr. Wallace a lot. I've been with him a couple times. I'm good friends with a number of his assistants who help the shows. Dr. Wallace has actually bought a couple saunas from us. I got a picture of him in the sauna with his thumbs up, and he's entirely correct on saying what he says. And I would also like to add to that that light nutrients. We do get nutrients. In India, they say we get nutrients from the prana, in the air, and the oxygen we breathe. Oxygen gives you nutrients, and the photons, the light photons, are very nutritious because you know that our bodies are not just particles, but like like you saw what the blue, a wave becomes a wavicle, becomes the particle, becomes a wavicle, becomes a wave. And so light energy is a nutrient as well. And I've heard people say over the years, I've been into nutrition all my life, and I'm finally realizing that exercise is important. And then you have people who say, well, I've been into an exercise physiology. I'm an athletic trainer. I'm an athletic coach. I'm finally realizing nutrition is important. But it's not really exercise that goes along with nutrition, but movement. And far-infrared energy is a subset of movement. Physical exercise is a subset of movement in your cells, because you have static and you have dynamic. And so you need to continually give your body the right nutrients, and also you need movement, whether it be metabolic functioning of the body, whether it be the lymphatic system, draining the toxins out, and allowing the nutrients to be absorbed. If you can increase your core temperature 1 degree, if you're low thyroid or have low body temperature, you can actually increase your assimilation of nutrients 20%. So a lot of times, question of assimilation, and a lot of times we can't assimilate because our core temperature is too low, or we got the mercury receptor. The mercury is in the way of the selenium receptor, or I'm not sure if I have that correct, but I'm just using it as an example. We have certain heavy metals in our body which prevent.
Thank you. I'd like to talk now a bit about the diseases that are like bacteria and germ like related, such as Lyme disease and such. I did have Lyme disease back in the 2015, and it was not really pleasant having my knee inflamed like crazy almost overnight. And it's funny, I had the disease it came out full blown, the knee inflammation in November, but the disease hit me, I think back in May is probably when I got it. And I was taking a lot of supplements and nutrients and such that was probably keeping the disease in check and all before it finally caught up with me and caused my knee to swell up. Now, the thing about Lyme, Dr. Wallach, when I interviewed him, I asked him, is there any way to get rid of Lyme without an antibiotic, or is it one of those diseases that you got to use an antibiotic? And he said, well, yeah, take the antibiotic. I'm sure there's some scientists and doctors of a really high spiritual nature who would assert that if you truly have the force with you, so to speak, you can use the force to eliminate the bacteria from your body without taking a big pharma a big pharma antibiotic. Antibiotics may be the only good thing that big pharma has ever done for us, but in general, there are some diseases that you can only get rid of them by taking some sort of an antibiotic, and also doing all the proper health and exercise and whatnot related things to supplement the antibiotic to help make sure the disease gets away as quickly and as best as possible. But I would presume that the sauna likewise cannot really cure Lyme disease and other diseases that would need an antibiotic to get rid of it. Is that right? If so, then how does it suppress the disease? What does it do to the bacteria?
Well, if I ran into a young man in Illinois a couple of weeks ago, and he did not use antibiotics to get the Lyme out of his body. He used herbal products and medicinal mushrooms and Chinese herbs, and I'm not sure what he used, but he was really sick. He was in a wheelchair. He wasn't able to walk for a long, long time, and he didn't know he had Lyme. And then he figured out that what I had is Lyme, or what he had was Lyme, and he did not use antibiotics. And then he eventually he got the sauna, and he did it for like a lot, and it helped him a lot. I've been going to it's called the ILADS conference. ILADS stands for Lyme and Associated Diseases Association. Lyme Association, or I'm not sure what it is, but and I was sort of shocked because most of the conferences I go to are naturopathic doctors, and I don't know if I've ever taken an antibiotic. At least I've never, since I've been 18, I've never taken one, and the idea of taking one doesn't sound pleasant, but I have to honor modern medicine. In the United States, allopathic medicine does some stuff. Like they're really good at fixing bones and all sorts of things. And the antibiotics, again, I had to learn in a sense, not the hard way, but I did get an asthma attack in my early 20s, and all my herbal remedies, which had worked before, wouldn't work. So I finally had to go to the emergency room and get a Tedrol. That was the medicine I used to take as a kid, and instantly it stopped the asthma attack. And because I finally acknowledged instead of rejected, remember duality, I was against drugs. Well, I finally recognized that drugs have their place. It's just that I don't know what the percentage is. I frankly feel it's about 95% of use, or 90% of drugs used in this country is drug abuse, and 10% or 5% saves lives and does a lot of good. And maybe, so does maybe another 30-40%. But I would, my thing is I do alternative first, and then if that doesn't work, I bring up the drugs. And there are so many alternative things that I've become aware of. It's my belief that, again, I would prefer to go that way. In terms of Lyme disease, basically there's a lady who had a protocol where she would put people in, and this is something you do not want to do on your own without a doctor watching you, because you could get dehydrated. But she was able to, like every 4 hours, because the spirochetes will procreate every 6 hours. And so if you do the relaxed sauna for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, every 4 hours, it will, I think, kill the procreation of the spirochetes that cause Lyme disease or related to Lyme disease. And that she said she actually was able to increase the core temperature of the body to 104.5. Now, if you increase it to 106, 107, the body will die. So it's something you need to be very, very, very careful of. And so, but I believe it can be done. And she was able to increase, she says if you increase the core temperature to 104.5, all the spirochetes will die. And so, but again, there's a lot of drugs out there. And like, for example, on my website, we were selling a product called MMS. And because of that, I got permanently limited from using PayPal, because it's an oxygen product. And then I talked to the CEO. I wrote him an email. This is 4 years ago, and 3 years ago I wrote him an email, and they reinstated me because of the miscommunication about it. It was really an accident because they asked us to take it off, and we did, and then somehow it got on there again. So at any rate, just recently we were selling CBD oil online, and somehow that we were using PayPal again because we changed our system, and so we were selling the MMF online, along with and a product called OxyMax and a product called OxyCap, and so they permanently deleted me from using PayPal because of that. And I don't know, someone else said that, well, there's a CBD oil company that owns PayPal. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's a lot of craziness that's going around. I call them the pharmaceutical cartel. So do a lot of other people, and a lot of times they're, like in 1933 when the Supreme Court made the decision that a corporation should have the legal right and have the same legal rights as a person, they lost a very, very, very important aspect of the whole civilization, of the whole means of the civilization, and they put money in front of everything. In other words, like if you go to a business school and say, why do people start a business? I think they might say, well, the reason people start a business is to make profits. Well, frankly, the world is backwards. And the reason people start a business, the true reason is to give service. And the byproduct of giving service is you get to make profit. And with those profits, you now can give more service. And now with the more service, you can make more profit, which allows you to serve more. And so the world is service. You live by serving because by serving yourself first, then you can serve others. And again, observe comes from the word serve, and that's really important. So when you're observing, you're serving. And it means you when you're serving, you basically are there is no you and me, it's all me, it's all us. It's not that there's no against. You're not for or against anyone, it's all you. And I think that's important. So the purpose of creating a business, and so with the Supreme Court decision made, and there was a movie out called The Corporation that pointed out, let's examine the personality of a corporation. And the average corporation has the personality of a psychopath with wanton disregard for human life. In other words, when they talk about the bottom line, and it should not be that way. I don't like using the word should because I don't believe one should ever use the word should. I say that with humor. However, like I've told you a million times, never to exaggerate. But that basically, it's like we want to keep in mind that unfortunately, like corporations will make decisions. It sounds crazy, but they say, okay, we're going to make $5 billion with this new drug. We're going to get sued. We're going to be sued for $1.5 billion. Well, hey, that's a no-brainer. We'll still make $3.5 million profit. And the reason we're going to get sued is because people are going to lose their lives because of this. And that's crazy. And it's all because of the bottom line, because of the investors. So there's something wrong inherent in the whole system. As a kid, I used to tell my dad all the time, but this isn't fair. This isn't fair. And it's true. This world is not fair. And one of the reasons it's not fair is because this isn't where you belong. You're visiting here. You're gaining experiences. Time and space is a mock-up to gain experiences, to become more free, to become more wise, to become more loving, to discover that you are an atom in the body of God. You are a ball of love. And that's why the world is crazy. It's backwards. It's supposed to be backwards. It was made to be backwards. It was orchestrated that way. And once you get it, then you quit fighting it. Because that's like arguing with the reality, as Byron Katie says. It is the way it is, and when you accept it, then you can understand it. And that's a really important principle. That if you accept something, then you can understand it. If you don't accept it, I don't know how in the world you can understand something you don't accept. That you don't accept it. Therefore, you can't observe it.
Pretty well said there. Moving on to some of the other things that the far infrared energy can be helpful for, according to the little bio here they have in the program for the Conscious Life Expo on you. It says helpful for reducing depression, ADHD, and autism. A couple of things of note here. ADHD, autism, and also, it doesn't mention it, but schizophrenia. The thing is, you mentioned this world is like really crazy and unfair and all that. Why is it that people with like high-functioning autism, like Asperger's syndrome, and schizophrenia and ADHD, if that such a disease exists, a lot of debate on that. But anyhow, the point is, why do these people that have been diagnosed with these conditions have so much trouble getting anything done in the real world? Well, it's because the world is not really designed in this low consciousness level to accommodate them. Now, it says here that this far-infrared technology is helpful for reducing this stuff, but is reducing the proper word here? Would it make sense to say that people with ADHD, schizophrenia, and high functioning autism, and maybe depression for that matter, if they were to use this far infrared technology, then it will actually manifest itself into some way in the way that they try to do things in the real world. Using this technology can help them succeed, or if not succeed, at least get through from point A to point B in the real world much better than if they didn't use this technology. And if so, well, how does that work for the skeptics that don't understand how using a sauna can actually help someone with schizophrenia succeed in real life?
Well, it's there's nothing divine love can't do. Okay, and so being in the relaxed sauna is like being in the presence of a Qigong master. I have discovered that's what they say in Taiwan. Dr. Bill Ackbenar, well-known doctor out of New York City, who was Surgeon General for the nation of Hawaii, voted best cancer doctor in New York City in 2007, acupuncturist, Chinese medical doctor, holistic dentist, and medical doctor, calls the relaxed sauna the Qigong sauna. He's written about a dozen books, one called No Sweat, No Sweat I talked about, the other called Qigong, another one called Zen Sword, and another one called, I can't remember the name of it, but 7 Principles of Spiritual Living or something like that. It's really, really excellent. But at any rate, he calls it the Qigong sauna. In India, this would be called it's like being in the presence of their guru. In other words, it's like being in the presence of a spiritual, loving life. And I like calling it, like I said earlier, it's a step-down version of fasting and divine love. When I had my out-of-body experiences, many of them in the early 70s, I would go into this golden light, this golden book, go in and out, in and out. I could feel the dross being cleansed from me. I just felt totally cleansed and purified, and just, emotionally, physically, mentally, I just felt so incredible. And right now, when I go into the sauna, occasionally I say, oh my gosh, this is a manifestation in the physical world of that same kind of the divine love kind of experience. And it was like really, 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 really a wonderful experience. And it's almost like being in a washing machine and you're a shirt, and the shirt, the healing water saturates the shirt and cleanses every fiber of the cloth, and out comes the dirty water. And when you go into the relaxed sauna, every single cell of your body is cleansed of this healing light. You can feel all the toxins, all the dross, all the gunk, all the metabolic waste, everything being cleansed and purified, and the lymphatic system is mobilized and it's dumping everything into your urine, through your sweat, in your colon. It's dumping, it's getting it out of the body, getting it out of the body, getting it out of the body. And you feel really, really cleansed and purified. So this works emotionally and mentally as well. It cleanses the mind, it cleanses the emotional body, and you feel mentally cleansed. Just like, there are many experiences in the history of the spiritual literature in the world to talk about being cleansed mentally. And so, a lot of people over the years, the last 15 years that I've been promoting and using and demonstrating relaxed sauna, people have come to me and said their depression lifts when they go into the sauna. They are not depressed anymore because it cleanses you mentally. We have a mental body, we have an emotional body, and the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems are sort of like symbolic to the emotional and mental bodies. And when they're aligned, you're free. You can get out. One of my favorite quotes is a quote from Paul Twitchell that says, "Thinking without feeling brings about woes. Feeling without thinking brings grief." And an example of thinking without feeling brings about woes would be Hamlet. He's sitting in a boat, just consternated in thought and miserable. And so what he needs to feel. He needs to feel. And like, let's say someone's loved one died and the person is stretched out over the grave grieving. They don't understand. They need structure. They don't realize, hey, he's in the other room. All you got to do is recognize you can communicate with him in the here and now because there is no time and space. And if you look at the Hindu, religion and the Sikh religion and all, many of the religions of the world and the spiritual awareness, there's reincarnation. It's one way of saying everything's happening at the same time. But from practical viewpoints, it's like locally it's true, although globally you would say maybe it's not, like the difference between Einsteinian physics and Newton physics. The beauty of the relaxed sauna is that it cleanses and purifies. It gets rid of depression. It does that. It helps with autism. We just came from an autism conference, and we sell a bunch of saunas there every year. This is our 4th year, and so many of the people come back saying it's really helped our kids calm down and relax. And and there's permanent effects. It's cumulative. It helps a little bit, and then you go back, and helps a little bit, and you go back until it's like a sine curve going uphill. You have your ups and downs, but when you look back 2 years later, you've gone along and you're a whole lot better. But yeah, Asperger's, ADHD, there are many, people say in the autism community, they're on the spectrum. So you have a lot of very functioning adult autistic people who, the relaxed sauna helps a lot. It gets them tuned in. If you can get the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems aligned, if you can get your feeling and thinking aligned, then you're free. They're not in your way. They're not. You can just leave. You can be in the present moment. And so it's because of all the thoughts and all these feelings getting in our way. In a sense, by embracing them, that's the key. By embracing them, you no longer have a duality between being against them. You embrace them all, and they filter through, and you find yourself in the moment when you embrace everything, the good and the bad, the ugly and the beautiful, whatever. It just is. It just is. It just is. And so, being in the relaxed sauna is what truth is, serum. It gets you grounded. It gets you centered. It gets you into a place where all the scattered energy is dissipated. And once you reach your core, there's a new energy. It connects you with the divine that is present in everything. And it seems to come forth. And therefore, you're energized and relaxed at the same time. And so many people come out of the relaxed sauna, and for the first time in their life, they're really confused. I don't understand it. I'm really relaxed, and yet I have more energy. And I say that the best thing in the world in the morning is to do the relaxed sauna. For if you can't do it for 20 minutes sweat or for 7, do it for 7 minutes. And I say it puts a cup of coffee to shame in terms of giving you this alertness. And so if it makes the healthy mind alert, it can get the sick mind, the mind that's not in harmony or balance, it can get it balanced. So part of, like when I used to teach math, I was a math whiz, I mentioned, and I used to love teaching the brilliant mathematicians more. But after my first out-of-body experience, where I was shown in like the overhang of about 6 handball courts, I was shown that I was out of balance. I dug myself a hole. I was too mental, too left brain. I needed to feel more. And so they showed me all these people in a 6 handball courts. They were, that size of an area. They were showing these like indoor handball courts. And there are people doing music. There are people doing dance. There are people doing art. And so that's the picture that they took me to, that I was shown. It was a picture that helped me see that I was too left brain and I needed to get involved in feeling. And so that was like a secret for me. And if everyone could resolve the moon Mercury kind of situation in their body and the mind and the emotions, if they could sort of get them in harmony, like in Greek times, the Stoics, wanted to be, very rigid, and the Epicureans wanted to be all emotional. Well, there's a balance. Okay, that they're both right, but they're both, missing the core. Is you want to be centered in the divine. You want to be connected. You want to get connected with that part of yourself that is all-knowing, and you want to have absolute reliance on that interconnection. So one of the most important things is to get in touch with that real connection that you have, and then you want to eventually, when you connect it to it, learn to rely on that. Because if someone says, "What are you going to do tomorrow when you run into the person?" What are you going to say? Hey, you can rehearse it, but in the moment, that inner guidance is there, and you learn in every moment to have absolute reliance on inner guidance. That's what's real. It's the only thing that's real. And boy, the journey in this physical world is quite a trip. And I came in not knowing anything about my past too much, about past lives and stuff like that. But if you read the literature for the Conscious Life Expo, there's thousands of people. And as we become more aware, when we work on ourselves and we become more pure, that's what's going to help the world more and more and more and more. I used to be a radical. I went from being a liberal to a radical to a super radical. And a super radical is someone who realizes they quit fighting the world for the injustices. The world is unjust. That's the way it is. Maybe not karmically from all the lifetimes together, but one particular lifetime it is unjust. And I still get really, really, really upset. For a moment. In the moment, I get upset. I allow it. It's craziness that goes on. It's unfairness. But like I even had a website. I never did much with it, called Money Injustices, because and there's a lot more injustices that it's sad, but at the same time, I have to detach myself from the sadness. By the way, the great masters of the world are called the masters of detachment. And so by the willingness to not have things the way you want them to free you from your being entrapped by wanting something. The book Kneel Down the Walls, A Conversation with God, says you can't ever have what you want. And that's true, because when you want something, you're picturing yourself not having it, and you get what you picture. Paul Twitchell mentions in the book Dialogues with the Master, I read as our charge, he says, at first you have the pure desire, then you get attached to it, and then you finally, after knocking your head, I didn't say this, but basically, eventually you drop the attachment, and then you and the pure desire united. And that's basically what The Secret is trying to tell you, that movie, The Secret. So that what you do is you have the pure desire, and then just the way the world works, you're going to get attached. That's just the way it happens. Maybe for a second, maybe for 10 years, maybe for 300 years. But you're going to get attached. And then when you detach, when you finally, like by going for gusto for what you want and then giving up, and then just going about your business, doing what you're doing, and then all of a sudden it happens. Then you and your pure desire united. That's what The Secret is all about. And they sort of missed that point, but they sort of beat around it. Basically, you almost can't say the way it is, because each person has to discover this for themselves. But in terms of mental clarity, mental disease, the far-infrared energy emotionally and mentally purifies and cleanses you just like it does physically. And the body of man, the mental body, and the emotional body, and the physical body, and the chakras, they're all interwoven, in this time and space matrix that we're in. And freedom comes from listening to inner guidance, taking advantage of the moment, calling yourself into greatness. And the relaxed sauna is one of the greatest tools we have on this planet. It is a divine gift, many to use. All far-infrared saunas are great gifts. The relaxed sauna is probably the most effective one. I believe it is. But that doesn't say anything bad. All the other ones are stepping stools. Some people are fine and very happy with other far-infrared saunas. Far-infrared sauna is way different than a finished sauna, because the far-infrared energy resonates and pulsates the water molecules in the body that mobilize the lymphatic system to take the toxins out of the body. And a lot of times people with Lyme disease, for example, have been using these products, and they just can't quite get there. There's a doctor, a naturopathic doctor in Washington. His wife had Lyme, was going to a Lyme literate doctor. Got to the point, 75% better. Nothing they knew what to do could used it, I think, 30 minutes twice a day for about a year. She's 95% better. Now she uses it once or twice, 2 or 3 times a week for maintenance. I saw her about 6 months ago. I met her for the first time. She's very healthy, appears normal, and has a normal life. Sometimes, I think it's illegal to cure Lyme, illegal to cure cancer, and so Hippocrates are on the planet, and he said, find me a way to create sweat, and I will cure disease. He'd be put in jail because it's illegal to cure diseases, I think, which is sort of funny and silly. But anyway, it's and we don't do the cure anyway. The only thing that does the cure is divine love. That's what cures everything, because it gets us into a balanced state. So I'm ready for another question of yours.
Yeah, thing about sweating, Dr. Joe Wallach, when I interviewed him, he said it is a two-edged sword in some regard. I mean, yes, many of the shamans and whatnot are right when they say sweat does a body good. It gets rid of toxins in your body and can purify you. But the problem is, at the same time, you can't deny that it's getting nutrients out of your body. And some have even asserted that a lot of athletes, like basketball players, for one. This was actually talked about when former NBA player Theo Ratliff was on the Alex Jones show once, and they were talking about how basketball players sweat a lot. Some of them end up dying early because they've sweated so many nutrients out of their body that it's vital that they get all the micronutrients put back into their body. Well, how do you make sure that you sweat the proper way? I don't think there's anybody had a better way to ask the question. How do you sweat the proper way to make sure that you're not sweating in the wrong way that's going to cause more harm than good by getting nutrients out of your body? And can you make sure the sauna will not do that?
Well, I noticed about a couple Augusts ago, I was laying out in the sun. I love laying out in the sun, have all my life. And I looked at all the sweat on my arm, my shoulder. I said, wow, that sweat is so watery. How weird, because, I've been sweating in the relaxed sauna for, at that time, about 12 years. And the sweat I had seen is not that watery. I had forgotten, because it's not really oily. You don't see the sweat when you're in the sauna. It's oily, but there's a lot more. So when you compare the sweat from the relaxed sauna or a Fra-Infrared sauna, maybe not as much, but almost as much, and compare that to regular sweat from a regular sauna or from athletic sweat or from lying out in the sun, there's not going to be any of the toxins, hardly any of the toxins. Maybe there's probably 80, 90%, or 80% of the sweat from a Fra-Infrared sauna is loaded with toxins, and you're not going to find that. But in either case, you can lose essential nutrients. And that's why they have Gatorade, although I think there's a lot of natural products way better to Gatorade, because they want to replace the electrolytes as well. And the Gold Wall company, Longevity, they make a really good mineral formula, 72 minerals. And I would recommend that for a lot of people if they want a good mineral product to replace any minerals they might lose through sweating, whether through athletic sweat or through, the relaxed sauna. That's one of many good formulas out there that can replace the minerals. Replacing the minerals is important. When I'm not replacing my minerals properly, I will get, a leg cramp every so often. And then I'll say, okay, my wife is right. I need to start taking some minerals, because I thought I could get the minerals from the green foods and the Chinese herbs and a lot of those supplements I'm taking. And sometimes, I just say, okay, time to take that multi-mineral, take that Joel Wallach longevity product or another product that has, the trace mineral drops or the OC drops and the OxyLift. There are a lot of formulas that have minerals from plants, minerals from, the Utah or wherever. The minerals a lot of times should be replaced, and one needs to make sure, just as when one goes into the sauna a lot, you need to make sure that you use good water. I have a stir wand I've been selling for 10 years. It's called the Quantum Stir Wand, and I put that in all my water. and I put that in all my water and all the liquids I drink, and it unclumps the water molecule, and so the water can now get into the cell, because they say the only way water can get into the cell is one molecule at a time, and most of the water we drink is clumped because it goes through pipes and rectangles and water. Like think of the springs, mountain springs, it's free and wild, like a wild horse. No limitations, and so the water, if it gets clumped and compromised, going through our faucet system, so I use this Quantum Spare Wand. I have another thing that we sell at our store. I forget the name of it, that we use when we take the water from our filtering water system. We put it through this, and it helps unclump the water. So that's a part of dehydration. And being in the relaxed sauna by pulsating the water molecules, I believe that also unclumps the water. A lot of times, people will do live microscopy or live blood cell analysis, which the establishment frowns upon for some reason. But you could look at the blood before going into the relaxed sauna and afterwards. You can look at it before doing the stir wand and afterwards. And there's hundreds of products that will be formed pictures of the blood and where the blood pumps together, and then after they take the digestive enzyme or the other product, it will be all circle and all separated. And there's the relaxed sauna, by the way, is one of the best things anyone can do who's high blood pressure or diabetes, if they have neuropathy, because it increases microcirculation a lot. So we've had incredible success with neuropathy and with Raynaud syndrome. We've also had really good success with, the diabetes and, whatever needs increased microcirculation, like healing wounds, getting rid of scar tissue, all that is helped by, again, you want movement and nutrients, not nutrition and exercise. You want to have movement so you can absorb the nutrients. And Far-Infrared energy is one of the ways, lying in the sun, you could, maybe, 2,000 years ago, the sun was adequate. But, when the world needs something, when there's negativity in the world, something also comes to counteract it. The world did not have Lyme disease, and now we do. So the way the universe works, or the way God works, and I don't like using that word all the time, it always gives a solution when the dilemma or the problem, is come at the same time. And it's just a question of being perceptive enough to perceive it and to utilize it. So the Far-Infrared energy was given to the world. The relaxed sauna was given to the world because it's needed. It's needed to help resolve issues that are caused by the complexity of the thoughts and feelings of this world, of people, looking at profit as more important than life. Again, the service and the profit. Like I think the HIV virus is, I'm not so sure on this, but it's found in certain things. So, which is the cause and which is the effect. So, the profit is the effect of why, you create a business to serve, and profit is the byproduct. See, it doesn't, it's the motivation. The motivation is to serve, and then when you do that, the universe has your back and serves you. When you serve the world, you get served, because there's only you. There's only you. And remember, there is no time and space. There is no space and time. There's only you. And boy, it's quite a trip. When you find the humor in a situation in life, when you find the humor in it, you become free of it. You become free of it. You become free of the black and white, of the good and bad, of the off and on. When you find the humor, as a matter of fact, that's a great way to describe, well, how do you let go of the situation? Find the humor in it, and it will help you let go. And that is funny. That is funny. And the solutions to so many problems. See, Paul Twitchell said, he's one of my heroes. And he started working with me back consciously in 1972. But he said a lot of good things about things that we can do to get our life in order, to get balanced, to get tuned in, and basically, he said being for or against anything dials you from the God consciousness, and I like to.
Hello.
Hey! It took me all that time to get my computer on and get the internet on and all that. So I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry it took so long.
All right. Well, glad to have you back. You any idea why we lost connection?
Yeah. I was outside and it wasn't plugged in. The battery ran out.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. There really wasn't much more to ask you about, but I did want to ask you. Okay, my Skype recorder is going. That's good to know. So,
great.
Finish up this interview like maybe 10, 15 minutes more. Some of the other popular products I wanted to discuss. One in particular, the color therapy glasses. Is it the reason these color therapy glasses, are they just the 7 colors of the rainbow? And would I be correct in assuming that the best way to use these, ask someone to scan your chakras, figure out which chakras are weak, and then whichever chakra color corresponds with the chakra that's weak, that's the glasses you should wear? Or is it more complicated than just that? Are there other uses and other reasons why they're colored the way they are?
Well, it's actually more simple. Sometimes you're just drawn to a certain color, and when you wear it, it feels good. However, there's a book called, I forget the name of the book, but it's a there's a name of a book called by Darius Dinshaw called. Here it is. It's called Let There Be Light. And the book Let There Be Light has, and there's also a book by Stanley Burroughs talking about what the colors are known for doing. And we just don't have the 7 rainbow colors. We also have magenta, and we also have turquoise. And those are colors that are also have an effect. So they all have, all colors have an effect. It's like music is everyone knows that certain music is calming and certain music is maybe mentally stimulating or warming to the heart. And same with color, but color is more subtle. And the science of color therapy has prescriptions. You do this color and this color for so many minutes, or you just tune in and say, okay. Like there's a lady in southern Ohio, at Athens, Ohio. Sherry Edwards is her name, and she will do your voice. You talk into a microphone for like 3, 4, 5, or 20 minutes, and all of a sudden, she can tell you what colors you need. She can tell you what tones you're missing, and by the tones you're missing, you can say what colors, because the colors and the tones are related. Like maybe G is related to yellow, and C is related to green. I'm not sure. So but I was answering a question of yours related to the last question you asked me. I really wanted to finish that question because had some good things. I talked for 6 minutes before I finally realized we were disconnected.
Go right ahead.
But I don't remember your last question you asked me, so I could finish up on it. About the sauna. Do you remember?
What was that question that I asked?
After the autism question, I think.
What was it that I asked you? Damn it. Was it? If only I remember. I'm sorry. And you don't remember what you were talking about
that's
either?
Right. Well, yeah. I do remember what I was talking about. I got involved in some more spiritual principles about I think I quoted Paul Twitchell was saying, every time you're for or against anything, you exile yourself from the God consciousness state. And I've more or less, like, depending who I'm speaking that to, I'll soften that sometimes, saying, if you're for or against anything, you lock yourself into duality. And when you lock yourself into duality, you exile yourself from freedom. And it's really important to be, not for or against anything. And I think, did you hear what I said about The Secret? About the whole idea is that.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so, well, at any rate, we'll just, whatever I said, it's in the ethers, it's been said, it's there. And if you can hear it without hearing it on tape, great. So let's go on to any other kind of questions you have or would like to ask. And I'll be more than happy to give you my views and my experience on that topic. I have really enjoyed the relaxed one. Yeah.
Okay, I am here. There is, interestingly, you have a maple syrup for sale. Of all the things in the world, this seems kind of out of place. What is it about this? Is there something about maple syrup in general that makes it worthy of being sold on your site? I mean, do maple trees have some sort of a magic in them? To be honest with you, maybe I should be getting maple syrup if I see this, because I actually stopped buying maple syrup. I figured it was too expensive. It wasn't worth it. I'll just stick with the organic non-syrup to put on maple syrup, non-maple syrup to put on my pancakes, the one that doesn't come from maple trees. But if maple trees do actually have some sort of a magic to them that makes consuming maple syrup worthy, and the extra money is worth spending, then what is it about it that I should know about, and why, of all the things, is maple syrup you sell?
Well, maple syrup that comes from a maple tree, not maple flavored sugar syrup, corn syrup or sugar syrup, is certainly a very balanced sugar. It's my favorite sweetener, maple syrup. I love maple syrup. I was turned on to the maple syrup. I mentioned The Healing for the Age of Enlightenment is a book that Stanley Burroughs wrote, all about color therapy. The third section of the book is all on color therapy. The second section is he calls it VitaFlex therapy. It's all about reflexology of the whole body, not just the feet and the hands, but also the body can be seen as a reflexology mat. And the first chapter, or the first section of his book, is called The Master Cleanser. And he recommends, and it's one of my folks' favorite diets I've ever gone on for a cleansing diet. It's called The Master Cleanser. It's fresh squeezed lemon juice, maple syrup, pure maple syrup, and cayenne pepper. And that's where in 1975, 76, I heard about this diet. I heard about Stanley Burroughs, and I've gone on 3-day, 1-day, 7-day, 13-day, 11-day cleanses using the maple syrup, and it's one of my favorite cleanses. Whenever I get to the fact that my health, even with the sauna, sometimes you get to the point I want to quit eating. I want to, I just want to get purified, and it's one of the most cleansing diets I've ever gone on. That doesn't mean that there aren't better ones. It's the only one. It's the best one I know of, and it works every time. A lot of times, just for a day or two, I do basically 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, basically a squeezed lemon, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and just a dash of a cayenne pepper. And I like doing it in hot water, not hot, so it kills the enzymes, but hot enough to be really warm, and I'll do it cold as well. And I just love the drink. It just always energizes me. It's like one of my aces in the hole when all else comes to fail. I'll do the Master Cleanser. And sugar flavored maple syrup, oh my God, that's an awful food to eat. It's like eating corn syrup or sugar. But anyway, if your body doesn't react to it, immediately, when it builds up in your body, eventually you want to get the when I first had that Kundalini experience way back in 1971, man, I couldn't eat anything that even had a tinge of negativity in it. My arms would ache even reaching for it. And certainly if I ate something with refined sugar in, I would have pain in my arm. If it had natural balanced sugar, no problem. Maple syrup, no problem. Honey would have a problem in the head, just like, so maple syrup to me was really balanced. And of course, if I overdose maple syrup too, I'll get an imbalance. But maple syrup, I just love maple syrup, and I think it's a really good balanced sugar.
All right, thank you very much. I guess my last question for you before I give you the chance to get out your contact info and anything else you'd like. One more question. I think this may be the most important question I ask you all day. Now, looking at the price for this sauna, over $1,000, I'm sure it's definitely worth the money. But another thing that people may ask, well, is it worth giving up all the other things that cost money in place of it? Now, there's a lot of supplements out there that people may buy that in theory, taking the sauna can do the work of the supplement and then some, but you don't really want to give up all the supplements entirely and just go with the sauna. One might say it's probably better to stick with the supplements and cut back on them gradually to the point where your body can acclimate to getting more and more of the sauna. Take less of the supplements and don't do the sauna as much as you would maybe after X amount of years after you manage to get rid of take the supplements out of your diet. Then and only then does it make sense to really use the sauna for like the maximum amount of period of time that you would suggest using it. Then and only then does it make sense to not waste the money on the other supplements, which you in theory wouldn't need anymore. So is that really the best way to go about it? And if it is, are there certain supplements that you, if people do want to take to improve certain parts of the body, that you would recommend and say these are ones you may want to stick with because the sauna really can't replace them as good as some of the other supplements it can replace?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm really in agreement with that. I look on the sauna as water. You drink it when you feel like you want to do it. Same with certain supplements that you're led to. I don't like to go by any kind of rules. I've been using the sauna almost every day for 20 minutes for 15 years. And it's like, if I go 2 days without the sauna, I start feeling the need for it. I won't use it every day because I don't believe in ritual. I don't even believe in belief. I think a belief is like a rental car. When it no longer serves you, you turn it back in. But I prefer to use a sauna and supplements by listening to inner guidance, and the inner guidance can be tuned into. Where you can hone in and get better and better at being tuned in, and you can be guided to do some research on certain supplements, and you can use your mind to look up what it says is best for it. You can talk to other people, but in the final analysis, you make your decisions. You decide what to do and not to do. You decide. Because that's what it is. And you live by your choices, and then you get to do better choices. But, I don't like going by any rules and just tune in and say, do I feel like doing it? If you feel like doing it, do it. And I think, people are just saying, well, I've noticed that after 2 years or a year of using the sauna every day, the lady with Lyme, I now notice that I use it about 2-3 days a week because that's when my body feels I need it. It's not like a rule. It's like it's after the fact. The reason comes after the fact. You first do it, and then you're reporting. You're reporting your observations rather than saying this is the rule I used. See, the rule comes after the fact. And so you just I really am a strong believer of listening to inner guidance and honing in on that scale. And again, that doesn't mean you ignore everyone else. It doesn't mean you ask for advice, but after you ask for advice or after you hear other comments that come to you, and after you notice and observe what's coming at you, you make your decisions based on your inner guidance and all that combined. But the sauna is great. Our website, by the way, is www.relaxsaunas.com, relaxsaunas, plural.com, relaxsaunas.com. If you go to YouTube and do a search for Relax Sauna testimonials, you'll find 600 or 700 of them. If you go to YouTube and do a research for Relax Sauna testimonials Lyme, you'll find about 16 testimonials on Lyme or any topic like doctors or whatever. The relaxed sauna to me is one of the best things that a person can do to improve their health, to improve their outlook on life, to become more free. My joke is that when in the future, when they build houses, they're going to put the washing machine there. They're going to have the dryer. They're going to have the relaxed sauna. They're going to have a stove and a refrigerator, and they're going to build the house around that. In other words, the relaxed sauna will transform any house into a home, because where there's a home, there's a hearth, a center for warmth and love. And the relaxed sauna can give you love in your life. It can give you warmth. It can help your ailments. It can help dis-ease disappear so that you are now in ease. It can help the athlete be more competitive. It can help repair wounds. It's almost I say it's the best we can do to get a step-down version of divine love in a box. It belongs in every home. Oh my God. It's just, I've seen miracles, 25,000 at least, minor or major miracles. Of the 150,000 people that I have put or asked to get in or have seen get in the relaxed sauna and get the responses, I've captured about 700 of them on YouTube after they come out of the sauna or after they come back to us 2 years, 5 years, 12 years later, saying, this is a doctor saying this is the best investment in my health I've ever made, the relaxed sauna. Others have said, if I was ever in a fire, the first thing I would grab would be my relaxed sauna. I mean, it's a source of warmth. It's a source of healing light. It's what, in Taiwan they say is being in the presence of a qigong master. If you have an ailment, if you have a health problem, look into study Fra-Infrared. There's a whole lot of research. Fra-Infrared pulsates the water molecules. There's a big scare on EMF right now. I like to jokingly say that the middle name of EMF is the devil, because the fear of EMF is about 100 times more worse than the EMF itself. There's very little EMF in the relaxed sauna, about 1/6 the amount of an electric massager, 1/6, about 1/4 of your computer screen, 1/4 of a light bulb, 1/6 of your juicer, 1/6 of your Vitamix, twice the amount of what's in your car. The car has 7 times the accepted value of safety for EMF, because but see, the danger of EMF, if you have been damaged by exposure to EMF, one of the best things you do is go into the relaxed sauna, because that will remedy and antidote and heal. I shouldn't use the word heal because I think it's illegal to use that word, but it will remedy the situation. It will get you back whole again. If you've been damaged by too much, if you're sensitive to EMF, you get into the relaxed sauna, because I'm convinced the relaxed sauna generator is not only an EMF protector, but I know in Sherry Rogers and there's research about in Japan that Fra-Infrared energy is known to antidote EMF. It's known to antidote sunburn. In other words, I've seen people, with a sunburn pain of 6 get into the relaxed sauna and it goes away like in 5-7 minutes. And according to the research in Japan, Fra-Infrared energy is known to antidote nuclear energy. So anyone concerned about nuclear energy, get yourself a relaxed sauna, and it will repair a lot of the damage, because it's going to cleanse the body, cleanse the cells, make them whole. And it's a vibrational thing. It's a vibration. See, energy medicine is the medicine of the future. So relaxedsaunas.com. You can also go to momentum98.com. And then on the left, on the top, there's a picture of a relaxed sauna. You can click on it, and it can give you a lot of the same and a lot of different information on the relaxed sauna. And then the other products, the Acumasseur is on that page, the color therapy glasses on that page, the pinhole glasses. I don't think we have MMS on anymore because PayPal deleted us for selling that. And you can call the store and find out about it, or you can call the store and find out about CBD oils, because we can't sell that through PayPal anymore, because, again, the pharmaceutical industry is applying pressure to the banking industry. It's just part of the world. Remember, we talked about just things, obstacles that can be stepping stones to spiritual growth. So the Relax Sauna webpage is relaxsaunas.com, and it's been really fun talking with you. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I hope that anyone who hears this will find some benefit through listening to our conversation.
I do hope so too. And by the way, listening to how clear you sound all of a sudden, it makes me regret not being patient enough and waiting for you to just hook your computer up for the first hour and a half of the interview, because you're not breaking up anywhere near as much as you were on your phone. The good news, however, is I was able to understand everything that you were saying, and anyone who's listening, even though it was kind of jumbled and all that, should be able to make sense of listening to it if they just pay attention and figure out, okay, this is what he was saying, even though it's a little garbled and all. They'll still be able to hear it, even though I'm sure I'm going to get some piss ass trolls in the in my comment section saying bad interview sound was so bad, and it's just trying to ruin that. But don't worry about that. It was for the most part understandable, even though it was a little garbled. That was great having you on, and it's great having someone who can turn a sales pitch into a spiritually educational and enlightening talk. That's a double whammy. So it's not very often that it's all about the money. Well, clearly not with you. It's not, because you did a lot of enlightening and did a lot of help, and your spiritual awakening certainly helped you in regards to a lot of things. So I loved having you on. And if you're going to be at another Conscious Life Expo, I don't know if I need to listen to your presentation, because I already got the info here, but I will certainly recommend you. And I will certainly tell the people it's worthwhile listening to you if they haven't heard you. So I wish you the best of luck. I hope this increases your the amount of money in your pocketbook if people listen to this. And good luck on everything you do, and best of luck helping humanity.
Well, I'm really interested, Andrew, in that people can become more free. You know, of course, using the Relax Sauna will help them become more free, I'm convinced. But more than that, it's just helping them tune in to that freedom, to access freedom within themselves, to access that inner guidance, and to let it guide them to better choices, and letting them move into that state of consciousness where you can let go of things that get in your way, where you can let go of beliefs that no longer serve you. And you can become, because of the beliefs that control you aren't there, you're more free. So thank you so much, Andrew. It was very enjoyable taking the time to talk to you.
Same to you. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Andrew. Bye now.